Yeah, I see that. I see the future as being more local and more about us finding our place in the community that we're in.
Yeah, that whole tribal size human culture, I think that's where we'll end up. I mean, whether it's going to be a slow descent like, Holmgren talks about, when it can be a nice slow descent, or if it ends up being a collapse, whatever way it works out, I think that's going to be the final, well, not the final, but that's where it'll be something that is sustainable, that will be able to culture go on into the future.
Small is beautiful.
Oh, that's a great book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you like to add anything or talk about anything with the members of Code Green community?
No, I think, we covered a lot here, so I think that's pretty good.
Well, thank you very much for showing your farm, and thank you for just being you.
Anytime, yeah. Come on up, folks. I mean, this is open. I'd love people to see it. So, yeah, just check the website, and Eric can get you directions up here. So.
Now, you have people come by on Saturdays to help you out? You have a little market?
Yeah, that's just going to get into swing, because it's been a little slow this year with the cold weather. So I'd say after the first of the year, every Saturday from 1, so after nap time, to 5, I invite people in. I call it a garden gathering. So it's a gathering of food. You can buy some of the stuff I gather for Sweetwater Market the next day, or you can hang out with gardeners. I mean, because I'd be giving somebody a tour, and 2 gardeners start talking about what they're doing, and it's kind of a cool interaction.
Yeah. Creating beneficial connections.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you. I can't believe what Echo's getting. $52 a pound for the powder on this stuff.
Wow. Do you want to just explain what you're doing and everything?
Okay, so this is some moringa leaf we harvested from that tree over there before the frost, and we just put it in there. We stripped it actually off the stems, so you didn't have a lot of stem on it, and then just laid it in here. And this has been in here quite a while, but it didn't need to be. It took about, I'd say, usually about a day and a half for it to dry with some good sun.
And what exactly is moringa?
Moringa is the miracle tree. You can eat every part of it, but the leaf is let me think, the whole thing is it's full of protein. It's got like 28% protein for a leaf crop on a tree, which is pretty incredible, and it grows really well for us. But Echo has been promoting it, well, a lot of people have been promoting it for developing countries because it's so highly nutritious. Grows in sub-Saharan Africa, some real desert-like conditions, and but I thought, why should we be just exporting it to developing countries? Why don't we use it? So I started taking some of the Sweetwater, and some people were buying it. Echo actually sells the leaf powder, which is what this is, for I think it was $52 a pound. Corey had some. So we just powdered this in a what do you call it, Vitamix, and then put it in like 2-ounce containers and sell it for $5.
Cool. All right.
So all these boxes were, for last week's market, were full. I think I took 10 bushels of fruit, 2 different varieties of grapefruits, lemons, 3 different varieties of oranges, Tangelo, 2 different varieties of kumquat. All went to Sweetwater Market, and they all came within a bike distance of this house, within 3 miles.
Wow.
And it's all stuff that would have gone to waste.
We waste a lot.
What's that?
We waste a lot.
It's incredible how much is... it's not real waste. It does go back to the soil, but it's not the best use. I mean, This is food.
Yeah.
Seaweed and that stuff can go back into the ground. But this is food that, I know the fruit rats get some of it, but I mean, they still get some of it. I mean, I'm picking, and there's holes in the fruit. It's cool. Huge.
Wow.
And so I kept wanting to find a lady home, or a guy, whoever it was. Nobody was ever home. So what I did is I left some cookies on her back step, left a note stuck in between the cookies, said, I took some of your pecans, if you want them, I'll bring them back, but, I do a market and I'm going to sell them. And she called me and says, oh, I had this great surprise when I got home from work. I had these lovely cookies, and I didn't even know I had a pecan tree. I mean, how could you not? But people are so clueless. It's crazy, and I've never seen pecan. I mean, these are the ones most of the time you get, and look at that.
Wow.
But that's variety. I think actually these taste better than these. These are kind of light and dry, but they're paper shell, so you can actually just crack them. Chickens and a duck. And the duck's laying right now. So we're getting 4 eggs a day. So one of the chickens is too young to be laying. But there's an Araucana in there that's laying blue eggs. And then 3 of them are laying brown. And that was just a pump up. People are in the house, I swear. You put a blanket on the sleeping bag, and I was sweating even at 39, the other night. So,
Wow. I'm gonna have to give that a try because Adam's been doing that. He's been sleeping outside.
In the cold too?
Yeah.
I mean, I love it because then you just light the fire in the morning, get breakfast.
They're not so happy over there right now.
No.
So I like how you got that all around the edge. That's very cool.
As far as
With the snow peas?
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I did some different kind of trellising last year. I mean, not trellising, it would be netting for the peas to climb. But the snakes would climb into it and they couldn't get out, so they were dying. It was bumming out. So I just went with hemp twine this year. And so that's how I got all the way around, yeah. And then I used the roof for my soil blocks up top there. So that's where I keep, because there's a little more sunlight there. Because around here I don't get a lot of sunlight, so
yeah, I
put
see.
them up there, and I jump up there and water every day. But this one I'll be harvesting, actually probably, yeah, Saturday morning I'll be harvesting some leaves out of here. And then the same thing, I'm doing a staggered planting, so these are planted quite a while ago, and I just planted these not too long ago, and they're coming up. And so that's the same thing, that's that intermediate strip between the small plants and the big plants. And then these are some spinaches that I planted in the multi-blocks that I was telling you about, and they seem to be thriving, because I've never had a lot of luck with spinach. And they seem like they're doing better this year. But this will be, yeah, I think this, right now I'm really excited, because this is probably the best it's looked in the 4 years I've grown here. So. And
That's
then
awesome.
still some new stuff too. This was a mash, M-A-C-H-E. It's a very cold green. They grow in the greenhouses up north in like 10 degrees. We'll see. It's the feeling I get. But I mean, he gets a lot of broccoli.
Now, do you want to just talk about this gentleman's house?
Well, George, he started growing, and I think, he saw what I was doing maybe 4 years ago, so he started planting some broccoli. He loves broccoli.
I can tell. Look at all the broccoli.
Yeah, I think he's got 120 plants, he said. So he started planting 2 years ago and had quite a bit, and he actually grew so much that his family got sick of it, so I started taking the excess to market and giving him half the money I got for it. Yeah, so this was planted only about a week and a half ago. I think these are the mini blocks right into the ground instead of going into that next size. So I wonder, I bet they're popped out pretty good. Yeah, see, look at how far the roots have come out into the soil already. And these were just like half this size when they were planted. They're still a little, what would you say, they're tougher to, I mean, if you have a really dry time, these would suffer more than the ones in the bigger blocks. Probably switch chard there, so switch chard on that one. Let's see what I got here. Okay, so these are them. You got to try these when they're done. I've sampled them in Maine. They're called Hakurei radish, or Hakurei turnips. And they're like these huge white radishes, but they're sweet as candy. And they grew for Elliot Coleman in his cold house during the coldest time of the year, so I figured they'd thrive here during our real cold time, and they seem to be doing really good. I've got some up there that are bigger, and I'll go look at those. But this is a new planting, and then that one's going to be the last planting of the year. So I've got a real good succession.
And that's your key, is you just succession. You start one area off and then you go on to the next area?
Yeah, that way I've always got different age plants coming.
Yeah.
I probably did a little too tight this year, but I just wanted to get things in the ground. So the one I did before we left for, isn't this fucking amazing?
Yeah, it is.
Look at this.
It's just popping up.
That came up on its own from last year. That's a mustard that came up on its own. I think I saw it. Yeah, look at this one too. Oh, here. And let me think. Where did I see it? Yeah, here's another one. A lettuce. That's Tango. So I mean, when they want to grow, they just decide. They've been sitting there all year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's the peach. Yeah, I can see the leaves. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one actually will start dropping the leaves, and the flowers will come out here. Probably not in too long. But, and then we'll see. I bet we have peaches this year. But so this is the stuff I planted right before I went to Europe in the feedlot, and a lot of them didn't do well. Most of them didn't take very good care of them, but these are definitely harvestable. This is what, so what I'll go through is just take,